I still miss the original song, right? But now it's like I'm slow dancing to this one. Like, happy money making Mondays, Mercedes. Yeah.
Money Making Monday. Welcome back,
Yes.
guys. I'm happy to be
Welcome
here.
and welcome back. Mercedes and I are so excited to dig into this thing. Today, we are discussing how we financially survive retirement. My name is Quintaria Brunson. I'm a financial strategist who is so committed to making sure that legacy and living benefits and generational wealth are conversations that are held, and beyond just talking about it, that we structure our life and our finances so that our future generations are financially free and not financially frustrated. I have a strategy firm and we do all those types of things. Google me, find all that good stuff. But for today, I'm here with my partner and I'll let her introduce herself.
Thank you so much. Yes, guys, welcome again and welcome to our new guest. My name is Mercedes Coates. I am the owner and CEO of Coates Way Financial. And what we do very simply, guys, is we educate families and business owners on how to protect their income and assets. We show you how to create tax-free streams of income that you can use throughout your lifetime. And we also show you how to have guarantees that are also tax-free in retirement. Yes, it is possible to have a guaranteed retirement that is tax-free. So we talk about all those things and we make it simple for you to put financial plans in place that will carry you throughout a lifetime. Okay. Happy to be here. And again, guys, we're going to start with the quote of the day. Q's going to take us away.
It says, retirement is wonderful if you have two essentials, much to live on and much to live for. And that is from Southern Living magazine. Okay. Retirement is wonderful if you have two essentials, much to live on and much to live for.
I love that. Yeah. That is fitting for today. Fitting.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get into it. Much to live on. You know, one thing I will say is that retirement, one, that we can set our own retirement timeline. We don't have to, just because the government says 65, 67 and all of that, you decide what your retirement looks like, what that means to you. However, as we mature and we are blessed, I don't know about you, but I grew up in Detroit, you know, even to be in my late 40s, that's a blessing, you know, like that's a blessing, but you decide what your as you move into your golden age, what that looks like. But for me, I don't want to be financially uncomfortable, you know.
Exactly.
Like, what was the point of, I tell so many stories of raising the girls and getting them over, and you know, like, in all of this, like, you know, like, trouble don't last always. Like, my God.
Just to be struggling when it's time for you to, you know, be in those golden years. That's not what you want, right?
Yeah. So I'm excited to give people real life solutions on how you can still meet your needs today, but consider how you want to be in position tomorrow and put those things in place. Because in our presentation, when we give presentations and product presentations about life insurance, one of the first aspects in the presentation talks about how long people are living. You know, people are living longer now. Science is helping people to be sustained longer, but living and breathing and being financially comfortable are not indicative. They are not one and the same. And because people are living 10, 20, even 30 years longer than they did over past decades, you have to be prepared for that. And you know, like, it's and I want to get into how we survive financially in retirement.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple attributes we need to have. As number one, flexibility. I think flexibility is going to be important, because as we see, even today, even in the past, you know, we've needed to pivot at different times of our life, whether the economy is going one way or another, whether new changes in geography is happening, whether you move to different places. You need flexibility, I would say. The second thing I would say is guarantees. You want to look for guarantees, right? Guarantees could be permanent benefits. It can be guaranteed income, streams that you cannot outlive, like passive income where you did the work in the past and you're getting paid.
Now you're getting a reward now.
Exactly. So those are two attributes I would say. But how do we put those in play? And where do we look for these things? Well, I'll give you something for me, and then maybe you can give the people something else. Mm-hmm. So one thing I like is, me being, excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Me being in financial planning, working with different types of financial plans, I've seen concepts. One, I would say my number one go-to is the flexibility of an IUL. It's an IUL, Index Universal Life Policy. The new type of IULs, primarily with a few companies, a handful of companies, they are really making it simple for people to have access to emergency funds, have access to income when they get sick or hurt, and then also have access to guarantees as far as a check being cut to you in retirement, completely tax-free. So I love this strategy. I would say, number one, look into getting with these top companies with IULs that have the full package. Now, every IUL is not created equal, but the ones that we work with, and just a couple handfuls out of 700 companies, there's only like 3 or 4 guys, to be honest. I would say that structure is going to be super important. I just worked with 2 people from the government today as my clients, and they talked about how long-term care is literally gone out of most government. Well, I won't say most. Some government agencies completely wiped out long-term care.
Yeah,
and that is essential.
Private entities as well too. Private entities as well. And we talked about this before. What others give you, be it a job or another family member, like something is inherited, those are bonuses. That's extra. We've got to make sure we have the baseline in place for ourselves.
Yes, I agree. Totally. So long life, we're talking about aging and aging well financially as well. Well, you want to make sure you have those permanent benefits in place so that if a health issue does arise, that doesn't wipe you out, because a lot of people lose their homes in their 70s or deplete their complete savings, right, in order to get into those facilities, because you have to deplete your assets in order to get into these long-term care facilities. So I would say, number one, look for the flexibility in that, look for the permanent benefits. That would be my number one thing I would say.
And I'm gonna put a prequel to your one, because I have a background in accounting, and for years I did taxes before I started focusing primarily on business owners' taxes and tax strategy. I just did taxes for families for about 10 years. And even then, now it has been well over 12, 13 years since I've done taxes on that level. But even then, even in, like the early 2000s, 2010-ish, around that region, it was 70, 80,000 a year for a whack, for a not so good facility. So I think that, like I said, a prequel to what you said, having the flexibility, but understanding the cost, because this is how you have an unstable financial position in retirement when you don't factor in the actual cost of what it's going to take to maintain your level and your lifestyle. Like, is your house paid off? And even if it is paid off, like, what are your other expenses and day-to-day expenses? We need to have some very formal outlines on how much it costs for you to live on an annual basis, on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, so you can calculate that and have all that you need and be comfortable with that. So that's the prequel. But another thing I will say too is, when you were speaking to that some of the plans that we offer have these options, even annuities with lifetime income riders and things of that nature. like depending on your age, like it's multiple options for you to get some of this guaranteed income, this lifetime income in place. And I think that we need to take those things serious, in addition to just having a life plan.
Mhm.
One of the things for the Brunson approach, we do a lot of strategy for business owners, but I'm seeing more families come to us because we do need to think about how we what needs to be paid off, or how we could position certain assets.
Mhm.
Will that rental property, give us the cash flow that will help us sustain? We need to put these
Yeah.
things in place and consider them in advance. And the beauty is it isn't a whole lot, but if you sit down once or twice and have some serious thoughts, some serious conversations, crunch some serious numbers, you can have a plan in place that's a set it and not forget it totally, but set it and check on it annually type thing.
Yeah, I love that. And that again is planning for the longevity of your lifestyle and your lifetime, right? You
Yeah.
said something key. You talked about lifestyle. A lot of us, I think a lot of us in our 30s, late 30s and 40s, right now, we're talking about retiring early. So you said in the beginning, you can retire whenever you want.
You
It's just a
can.
matter of having enough income to sustain you for your lifetime and lifestyle. So I want you guys to consider, what does your lifestyle look like in the future? Do you believe that that's going to change? Do at some point, do you want to move to an island? Do you want to buy an island, right? Do you want to name the island? You can name a city, okay?
Yeah.
Somebody just named a city after them, right? But
I
anyway,
ain't mad at it.
we ain't going to shout it out, but we ain't going to say their name, but you can have a city. So what does that look like financially? So don't just be working without a end in mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just trying to reach your goals. And I love how you work with business owners to help them establish or a cash flow tunnel where they can use to leverage into their goals that they want, ideally for their children, their families, dependents who they're taking care of. A lot of them are business owners who have aging parents,
Yep.
setting them up properly. So, I just suggest that you guys think about what that long-term looks like and start to put financial plans in place that are flexible, guaranteed, that creates passive income, and that will also transfer with minimal tax to no tax. Okay.
Yes,
You
most
want to avoid
definitely.
the tax. Okay.
It's no reason to lose in the money game.
Yeah.
It's no reason to lose. And I get it. Our community has been locked out, intentionally left out, but that time is long gone.
Yes.
We have some catching up to do, but it's no reason that we are locked out of being strategic about our finances and our financial future. I'll say this, we're taught that life and death is in the power of our tongue and what we say and what we put out there. I don't know anyone who says, yeah, I'm out of here at 35. I'm done and die. Most everybody I know talks about living a long life, being here and so you're speaking that, which I think is a beautiful thing. You're speaking that, you're putting that into existence. So you got to put your money where your mouth is. If you're saying, oh, I'm gonna be here. I got one friend, I said, girl, you must got that Michael Jackson deep freezer somewhere or something. She talking about she gonna be here till 150. Like, oh, I'm gonna see my grandkids. I'm like, okay, but with that being said, the average person anticipates a long life, wants to live a long life, is hopeful for a long life. We speak longevity in life. You have to put some action behind that. Otherwise, who wants to be 85 and uncomfortable? 85 and you got to stretch a can of bean soup for a week and things of that nature. 85 and a burden on those grandchildren that you stayed around to see. I don't want that. And I don't think we have to be in that position, because we can definitely use the financial vehicles and the tax code itself to position ourselves so that we can win and teach our other generations so they can be just a little further along than we were, and be even more financial, and financial survival isn't even a topic. It's just understood.
That's it.
It's the baseline. Like, oh, that's what we do. Like, yeah.
Exactly. I love that. I mean, these are great points, guys. I hope that we were able to give you some great strategy, some insights, some, attributes, some things that you need to do, put in place or adjust. Maybe you are doing it. Kudos to you. Teach one, share with somebody else, share this video, let them know, hey, there is a starting point working with Madam CEO and myself, Ms. Coates. Yes. And we love to have you. So, we will see you guys next Money Making Monday.
Right? I love it. You all go and be great. And y'all know Mercedes and I are going to do the same.